Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Relentless Talk Radio. This is segment 1 of the 34th episode. And so I'm starting a new series this week. Those of you who've been paying attention and been watching weekly, the past 14 weeks, actually 15 weeks, I've interviewed 13 nonprofits and also the Arizona, the Alliance for Arizona the Alliance of Arizona Nonprofits. I've interviewed them twice. And I was working on a project called The Art of Fearlessly Giving Back. And that project has ended. The winners were announced last week. So if you want to know who the winners are, the 3 honorable mentions are listed on fearlesslyGivingBack.com. 3 nonprofits were gifted 3 paintings they can use to auction off at a gala event. It wasn't my original intention for the project, but in the process of interviewing the nonprofits and kind of going through the process, I made some decisions that I thought were in the best interest of the nonprofits as far as their time and their bandwidth was concerned. So I'm super excited for Homeless Engagement Lift Partnership, which was the first winner, and then the Anthony Bates Foundation, and then lastly the Gabriel's Angels. Now the other 10 charities that I interviewed are also listed on fearlessthegivingback.com. They have been asked if they'd like for me to come out and do a special edition. I will do a special edition live broadcast from their location. So we'll see how many of the charities are in to have me visit. And then that's kind of moving forward. I've made a kind of, executive decision to have the Relentless Talk Radio will have 2 interviews every week, so I can have longer with each of my guests. It'll still focus on one of the 4 platforms, which is philanthropy, art and fashion, health and fitness, or entrepreneurism. But it looks like from the end through the end of the year, the platforms that I'm focusing on Relentless Talk Radio on Tuesdays that are already booked for art and fashion and health and fitness. And then I will be doing site visits to entrepreneurs who I feel are doing amazing things, actually on-site location special editions, and also, as I said, special edition location visits to philanthropy organizations that are doing great things in the community. So those 2 pillars will be kind of handled separately. So you kind of see them as they come up, as opportunities arise. So if you're a nonprofit or you're a business and you'd like for me to visit you and shout out the good work that you're doing and the amazing things that you're growing in your business, then give me a shout at Michelle at MicalizziEnterprises.com, or you can also PM me here at Facebook and let me know what it is that you're up to, and then we'll make a plan for me to come visit. So how things will roll out now is the first 10 minutes of the show, I'm going to be talking about a goal. Those of you who have followed me over the past 5 years, I usually do a series every year that focuses on a particular topic. Last year it was entrepreneurism. This year, I haven't chosen the over topic yet, but I know what today's topic is. Today's topic is setting goals. And the reason why that is so on my mind is because I just finished the Art of Fearlessly Giving Back project, and I also just stepped off the Herberger Theater stage from the OCB Slayer Classic. I don't know if you can see my t-shirt or not. The OCB Slayer Classic fitness competition was this past weekend, where I prepared to be in my first bikini competition. And so that was a trip. So it has me thinking, of course, whenever I finish a goal, it has me thinking about my next goal. And so I want to share about goal setting today. So I always Google goal setting, what can I talk about with goal setting? And, I got this really great quote came up. It says, courage is like a muscle. To strengthen it, you have to use it. And Ruth Gordon, who's an actress, said that. Now Ruth's name didn't sound familiar to me. Maybe she sounds familiar to some of you. She's actually been in, well over 40 films, and she's an avid theater and television actress. In fact, she won an Academy Awards for Rosemary's Baby, a Golden Globe for Inside Daisy Clover, and then also an Emmy for Taxi. So she's like one of those supporting actresses that you just don't know very well, because she's not like Angelina Jolie. She's not the leading actress. She's the supporting role. But this is a woman that when I looked her up on Wikipedia, I was embarrassed that I didn't know her better. And it made me think about a couple things. I didn't place this week. I was a supporting character this week. I wasn't the winner. I wasn't a placer. I was just a chick on the stage. Now, for me, that was my goal, right? My goal was to show up. That was my goal. My goal was to show up in a bikini with my hair done and to not embarrass myself. And I think I held my own. I think we're going to go ahead and remove, let's see, how do I quit this without dinging every second? It was my goal to show up and just be on the stage and to hold my own. And quite frankly, I held my own. I actually held my own better than I thought I would. Now, I was at 19% body fat. I really should have been at 14%. So I have some more fat to lose and some more work to do before my next show. But what I did was I was able to throw my hat, and that's why I'm wearing a hat today. For those of you on podcast, you can't see that, but I've got an Arizona Diamondback hat on today because I just went to an Arizona Diamondback game in my neighborhood. It was fabulous. So I threw my hat in the ring, or my bikini in the ring, as the case may be, and I was able to hang backstage. And so I want to talk a little bit about my backstage experience, and then I'm going to get back to Ruth Gordon here in a second. I thought that, bikini and fitness competitors, all these years I've been in the fitness industry, 35 years, quite frankly, I've been a personal trainer, health coach, and a yoga teacher. I thought that the girls backstage would be catty, bitchy, egotistical, not helpful, very competitive, cutthroat. That was not my experience, happily. It was not my experience at all. In fact, in all the years that I've competed and all the years that I have performed since I was a little girl, quite frankly, the nicest people I met backstage were at the OCB Slayer Classic. Now, I was really amazed by that. Everyone was so helpful and so funny and so easygoing. And let me make something very clear. These girls are athletes. They're not just hanging up there in a bikini. These girls have worked their butts off, and they've managed their diet for weeks, and they have dedicated their lives. It was my first show. There was definitely a lot of, a crew of novice people there as well. It was their first show as well. But there were other people that were there for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time on stage. And, this is a huge commitment. I mean, training for this show, I put 21 weeks in training for this particular show. I made a decision in April, and that's a pretty short time to get ready for a show. But these women have been preparing for years for this, and they work super hard. And there were men backstage too, but quite frankly, the women stayed with women and the men stayed with the men. It was that was also interesting to me. It was like a girls' slumber party back there, and it was cool because I realized I was with my tribe. I've been an athlete my whole life, and I've missed being around women athletes. And so it was really a wonderful experience for me. The best part about the show was the backstage experience for me. And, I was kind of in an observing mode. I wasn't really kind of stepping up and participating. I was kind of more stepping back and watching. And those of you who know me wonder how that's possible, but it's true. I was stepping back and kind of watching how things were. So I thought that was interesting. And so I've set my goal to be in the February OCB Slayer Classic, which I think is the Muscle Max, which is here in Arizona, here in Phoenix, and the location hasn't been announced yet. But I will be training. I have 6 months to train for that show, and by then my body fat will be where I want it to be, and my legs will come up. So many of you know that I was injured several years ago when I started my personal training company here in Arizona. I made a decision to leave my Edward Jones office and start my personal training business here in Arizona, like I have in New York and in Vermont prior to that. And what happened was a couple of weeks after I started my business, I ruptured my left Achilles tendon and I tore my right LCL 98% through, and I ended up in leg braces for 5 months, and it took me 2 years to be able to walk without thinking about it. And I couldn't train my lower body for about 2 years because my left knee was so damaged that I couldn't put pressure on it with weight. So I was really grateful to be able to get back into a pair of heels and be able to walk across the floor and carry a cup of coffee at the same time. So about a year ago, after I'd kind of gone through some life changes and started some business, I thought, I'm ready to start pushing again. And a year ago, I made a commitment to start hiking. And about a year ago, almost to the day of the competition, I hiked up Black Mountain for the first time. And while I was on top of Black Mountain, I thought, okay, I got to the top of Black Mountain. I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd be able to get up that big hill with my weak legs. And so my legs were barely able to make it up Black Mountain. And this past weekend, I stepped on a stage in a bikini for the OCB Slayer Classic. Now, my legs weren't what they should be. They weren't what I wanted them to be, but they were a hell of a lot better than they were a year ago. So they'll be even better in 6 months. So we'll see what happens. I get to compete with these amazing women who have made a commitment to the sport and to themselves. And really, it is a huge commitment to compete in a competition. So what does that have to do with Relentless Talk Radio? Well, I don't care what your goal is. You have a goal. There's something if you don't have a goal, get one, because having a goal is very important. And I was just thinking back to Ruth Gordon. She acted until 2 weeks before her death at 88 of a stroke. And after she won an Academy Award when she was 72 years old. Her first Academy Award, let me repeat that, was when she was 72 years old for Rosemary's Baby. So, I'm 52 this year, and the fitness competition thing has been on my list of things to do since I was a kid, quite frankly, since I was 15. So I fell in love with Corey Everson and Rachel McLish and, some of the early bodybuilders, Gladys Portuguese. And this past weekend at 52, I stepped on the stage for the first time. And we have Janet McConnell coming on in a couple of weeks. She's 63 years old, and she's doing physique competitions, which are bodybuilding. I mean, she's like a serious athlete, and she started off as just a kind of a girl next door. So this idea of this is the last quote I'm gonna leave you off with before I go pick up Michelle Mills from Chambers Clinic. One of the things that she said was, to be somebody you have to you must last. I just love that. I think that whether it's in business or it's in fitness, health, love, whatever, the only way that you're going to get from point A from point B is if you keep trying. And so for me, what trying looks like is I set a goal, I achieve it. I set a goal, I achieve it. I set a goal, I achieve it. I set a goal, I miss the mark. I reset the goal, I miss the mark. I set a goal, I achieve it, right? So you keep on doing that. And if you keep on doing that, then, maybe whatever your goal is. I mean, I'm sure when Ruth was 52, she wasn't thinking that at 72, 20 years later, she would win an Academy Award. But she did. And she actually, the day that she died, her husband said that it was like any other day. She got up and went for a walk. She went and did her errands. She was practicing for a new play that she was going to be on. And then she had a stroke and died. She was planning on going on the stage again in weeks at the time of her death. And that's, I got to say, that's a life well lived, Courage is like a muscle. You have to use it to get stronger. And so, in life, in business, in fitness, setting goals is very important, and because setting goals keeps us accountable, and setting goals keeps us going somewhere. So that's the topic this week. What I'll be doing moving forward is I will be announcing what the 4 interviews for the month and the 4 topics for the month on the first Monday of the month. If you're on my newsletter or you'd like to be on my newsletter, you can go to relentlesstalkradio.com and sign up for the newsletter, or you can go to MicalizziEnterprises.com and sign up for the newsletter. And at the end of the month, I'm going to be doing a blog with kind of like lessons learned from the month. And as is my style as an artist, all the interviews and all the lessons will accumulate into one illustration. I'll be doing that for at least a year. And at the end of the year, there'll be an art opening. So I'll tell you some more about when the opening will be in August or September of 2020. With the interviews that I've done throughout the year. So that's how I'm not giving up on the art part of what I'm doing. I'm taking the work that I'm doing already and doing what I'd be doing naturally. I'm journaling about it, and then I'm drawing about it. So you can, I will post about the painting, and the blog will be posted as well, so you can see it that way. But if you'd like to be getting it proactively, go to relentlesstalkradio.com or MicalizziEnterprises.com and sign up for my newsletter, and you'll get it in your email box. All right, guys, so I'm going to sign off now and go get Michelle Mills. She's from Chambers Clinic, and those guys super helped me out getting prepared for the OCB Slayer Classic. So I'm going to sign off now and be right back.